congratulations.
Thanks.
I mean, it's lovely to have this moment now that we chatted so much in the build-up to the show way
Yeah.
back in March. And here we are now. So let's go through it. Life-changing, I'm presuming.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, because, you know, just in the notion of living in America, it's, you know, that in itself is as big a life change as you could have. But yeah, all of it is very strange how different everything is. You know, it really is, yeah.
But sitting out there in the audience for the show, and it was just this wonderful atmosphere. And I was looking down at, you know, I was thinking, how brilliant now, all these months on, even when we spoke beforehand, and, you know, the pressure and all that kind of stuff. But now, a sense of relief that it's just going as well as it ever could be.
Yeah, relief's the right word. That's been the feeling, really, of just, because you kind of buy yourself time, and that's all you need to get a show like this right. And you know, we're still learning what to do every day, and there's always things you can do better. But yeah, relief is absolutely the right word. That's all it, you know. I'm very, very proud of it. I'm immensely proud of it, and I'm proud of the show that we're making, and I'm constantly amazed by the volume of people that are watching the show, both when it's on and the next day in their lunch break on their, you know, DVRs and all those things. It's incredible, really, to feel like you might be making something which has any sort of relevance, and that's all we ever wanted, was to try and make a show that would feel relevant, that people would share and watch and say, did you see what they did last night? And that's I'm blown away, really, by the response to it, if I'm honest. Yeah.
Well, there's this incredible thing that I think people in Britain don't quite understand certain things. One is because you're on late, and you're up against all these other shows, and everyone's competing for guests. It really is pretty cutthroat. It's really hard. But the great thing, and I've mentioned it many times on the TV, what you're doing, the stuff that's going viral. So let's talk about those for a moment. I mean, like Bieber.
Yeah. I mean,
the bromance.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought, you know? But yeah, those carpool karaoke things. I mean, it's such a sort of innocent idea that we came about from the comic relief sketch that we made with George Michael, which was my character from Gavin and Stacey Smithy singing with George Michael in a car, and we were just, myself and Ben, who my best friend Ben Winston, who produces the show, were thinking, well, why is it so joyful? And there's something incredibly joyful about watching someone sing their hits in the same place where we all sing their hits. And the amazing thing about those things is that when we were asking sort of back in January, February, and even into March, and we launched the show on March 23rd, like, no one would do it, because it's a very hard thing to understand what it is, you know? Unknown show, unknown host, will you get in a car and drive around and sing your songs? And everyone was just saying no. And then it was a chance meeting with Mariah Carey's, well, basically someone from Mariah Carey's record company who has the ear of Mariah Carey, where I was saying, you know, she would just be the most amazing person to kick it all off. And this lady from this record company just got it. Took it to Mariah, showed her me singing with George Michael, showed me singing with Gary Barlow in a documentary made about him, and said, okay, I'll do it on Tuesday. And then we launched the show the next week, and we played it out, I think, 2 days after our first show. And that was it. And then like, we never thought that we'd be in a position where, you know, Stevie Wonder's doing it, and like the Justin Bieber one having like 42 million views on YouTube is incredible, really. And yeah, it's you know, all of those things are so down to luck and just timing and stuff like that, really.
But incredible skill from you. And this is what I love about this show, is that it showcases your so many talents. And if you take the Tom Hanks piece, that was just brilliant.
That again is, you know, just credit to Tom, really, for it was an idea which he could have, you know, of course, just said no to, you know, like, he came early, he flew in early to rehearse it the day before to get it absolutely right. And that, I think, was genuinely the most important thing to happen to our show, because if you can establish early, this is a show where people come and do things that are fun. We don't just sit and chat. That him doing that and him being, you know, the biggest star in the world and an absolute national treasure in America and the world, you're able to, and then it catching fire in like, I don't know, 15 million people have seen it on YouTube or whatever. You can then go to Matt Damon or Arnold Schwarzenegger and say, look, will you do this? And they go, yeah, sure, because someone else has done it. And that moment, that thing, to have that on our premiere episode was, I don't think we even realised at the time quite how important that was for our show, you know.
Have you had a chance, now that we're way over 100 episodes now, which is phenomenal, to actually get a little moment almost like this to just sit and reflect and go, whoo? Or are you still, is it all like this?
I don't really. I think it's, in my experience is that as soon as you sit and stop and go, oh, haven't we done well, it sort of starts to unravel. So I don't know. I've never really had a rear view mirror, if you like. Do you know what I mean? I've never really looked back. I only really think about the show, and I think we can make it better, and I think we can make it bigger, and I think we can make it funnier, and that's all I really think about. I don't tend to think about it as a sort of, because there's no finish line to it. It's never finished. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's another show tomorrow. Like, we just finished a show now, and we have another one tomorrow, and we have another one the day after that, and we have 4 more next week, and that's the only way you can think about it. I think as soon as you sit and start thinking that, you can start to think that you're a bit more of a dude than you really are, and I think that's a bit dangerous. And, you know, maybe in a year or 2 years' time, I'll start to relax. I don't know if I will, because, you know, I just want it to be as fun as it can be every night, really.
What's been the funniest moment for you so far?
I don't know. I mean, like singing in the car with Stevie Wonder, like that's just something that I just never thought would ever be something I'd ever get to do. And there's moments like that where you think, if this was an auction prize, you know, if you were at a big event and it was an auction prize where you could drive around in a car with Stevie Wonder for an hour and a half. I mean, we actually drove around with Stevie for 2 hours. Normally, the carpools take about an hour, 45 minutes, hour, tops hour and 15 to film.
But he was driving, so that's a little bit longer.
But we kept saying, I think we've got it. And he'd go, no, come on, man, we got so much more to do. There's other songs. And you just go, okay, Steve, you know, and that is, I don't know, that was a real moment where I thought, I never thought that our show would be at this point this quickly, that we would be able to attract someone like that to come and do something on the show, you know?
So we're talking about the life-changing things. I mean, obviously you were in the grand dressing rooms, things like that.
Yeah.
What have been the fun sort of Hollywood moments? Because I always think, one thing that people don't realise at home as well, at a lot of events, gift bags. And you cannot believe what are in gift bags sometimes. Have you had those moments gone?
I don't think I'm getting invited to the right parties, Ross. Which parties are you going to? I don't think I've encountered
James.
any great gifting scenarios. Not really.
You're not getting people throwing stuff at you?
No. What am I doing wrong, Ross?
Something wrong.
No. I mean, I get the odd Burberry suit, but only because I'm in their Christmas advert. But, yeah, no, nothing like that. I did get a lovely gift from Cindy Crawford, because her husband, Randy, owns a tequila brand called Casamigos, and she brought me a barrel that he'd made, which had my face burnt on the side and said Corden's Cantina, and it's a tequila barrel, but I've not actually had any of it yet.
And that's Clooney's?
Yes,
Stuff
that's
as
right.
well,
That's
yeah.
right. So, yeah, I've had that. I've had some nice things, but no, I haven't been to a massive parties, really.
Yeah.
I think because when all those parties were happening in award season before, the show wasn't on TV, so I would never get invited to any.
You're going to clean up this year?
We'll see. I'll look for you around, yeah.
And of course, you got the missus out here and the kids too. That really helped grounding you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a credit to my wife, really. to move here with a 5-week-old, our daughter was 5 weeks old, my son was 3, and that, you know, that is a massive thing, an undertaking. But we're really pleased that we've made the move, because it's, you know, every weekend, it's like I work really hard in the week, and then I feel like on a Saturday morning, it's like you've clicked your fingers and you're just in the south of France, and my son is outside, and the sun is shining, and you can go, and I just sort of stop. I just don't do anything, and that is, it's not lost on me what a privilege that is to be able to have that time, because that was a huge thing in taking the job, really. I felt very nervous about it. I felt very reticent about it in many ways, but to be able to just be around my family and have a job where I get to be creative every day, I feel very lucky to be in a position where that is our life for a few years, or until they sack me, you know.
Think you say. You've always got the modelling career now to fall back on.
Well, that is the thing. I mean, the chances are that's going to overtake things, you know, when I'm, you know, because I'm the face of a big fashion house now. So it's only a matter of time before that takes over, I imagine. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's crazy. It's so crazy.
Has that been fun to do? It looks like fun.
Well, doing that,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, are you crazy? Yeah, it's ridiculous to just, you know, walk a runway at a Burberry show and then be in the commercial.
And then bounce.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like, you know, I'm from High Wycombe. None of this should be happening. Do you know what I mean?
Now, in terms of, you know, where you go next with everything, because, you know, again, I mean, you've won a Tony, you know, you've been in movies, you know, how do you sort of keep mixing things up, or does this just take everything at the moment?
Well, yeah, this really dominates. I think I'd be silly to try and do anything else while the show is. We're still trying to make it better. So it's. Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted. All I ever wanted was just to have a varied career, a career that was different, which is why. You know, when it was in the History Boys and things, Ruth and I started writing Gavin and Stacey, and then hosting a League of Their Own, and then doing things like the Brits, and then doing another play, and that is all I've ever really wanted to do. And so I hope I get to do another play at some point. I really do. That's I think the thing which I probably miss the most. You know, doing this show is the notion of just doing a play and telling a story in one night. I miss being part of a company, but. You know, who knows? I really couldn't be happier than I am doing this show. It feels there's something incredibly freeing about just waking up in the morning and thinking, I wonder what we'll say on television tonight, and that is that's a real luxury, you know, and one I'm very much enjoying.
You said The Boy from High Wycombe on Broadway. What makes Broadway so special? What made it so special for you?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's more special than doing a play at the National Theatre or doing a play in the West End. I just think there's something very unique about Broadway, because it exists in what is essentially, I think, about 10 or 11 blocks of New York. So these theatres just packed back to back and side by side, and so there's very much a feeling, an energy that you can feel, which you probably don't feel if you're in a play at the Haymarket Hotel, you know, the Haymarket Theatre. You know, that is a different feeling. But I mean, I don't know, I've been very lucky in the plays that I've been in, that both plays started at the National Theatre and ended up on Broadway. That is a tremendous stroke of luck, is the truth. But for me, you know, both times that I've lived there, I've loved it. And we could have done this show in New York. That option was open to us, but we just felt like it's such a crowded market for talk shows that we'd probably end up with no guests. So
bit of a problem.
Yeah. So you know, we that's why we chose to do it here, and I'm very glad we did, because it's such a different pace of life for us and as a family. It's a really great place to live. Yeah.
And Christmas in New York, obviously a bit special too. That.
Yeah. Well, we're going home for Christmas, so we'll be back in London. So I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be really. Nice.
Did you ever have a Christmas in New York when you?
No, never, because we only ever work there in the summer. So.
Ah.
I've never done that, but I'm worried about going back to the cold. I'm just worried about quite how cold it's going to be. Like, what do you do? Are you spending Christmas here?
I'm here, yeah.
Right.
I'll go over before Christmas, then come back.
Right.
And then appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm slightly nervous about the cold. I'm also just nervous about my daughter as she gets older, because she's not going to know a life in Britain or in London. So essentially, London's just going to be a place we go to at Christmas. So I've just got this terrible. I keep having this recurring nightmare of us landing in London one day and her just going, "Oh my God, what is this white stuff falling from the sky? Grandma and Grandad don't even have a pool. This is disgusting. Oh my God." And I'm like, "Oh no, my wife speaks incredibly posh around her and my son, just to try and keep them as British as we can,
But of course, you go back, League of Their Own. You still doing
yeah.
the show?
We're doing another one next summer. I think the new series starts in January. So I mean, as long as that show is on the television, I will always host it. I love doing it so much. I just sit with 3 very close friends, like in Jamie Redknapp and Freddie Flintoff and Jack Whitehall. They are my, I consider them incredibly close friends, and they actually came out here. We shot an American road trip sort of special, it was just lovely to see them. So yeah, I will always host that show. It's the only time I never feel like I'm at work. It's just sitting with some mates and talking about sport. Like, I'd be doing that anyway, Yeah.
In terms of like the Hollywood moments, and I was lucky enough to be along at the Britannias when you got the BAFTA Britannia Award, and it was such a lovely moment because you're on stage and then you're looking down and you're referencing Meryl Streep and people like that.
Yeah, it was not. I mean, I felt. I don't know. I felt it was very. It's very lovely that an organisation like BAFTA would want to give me such an award, and you're there, and there's Harrison Ford and Amy Schumer and Sam Mendes, and it's that moment when you're on the stage and you look, they go, "Can all the winners come up here?" And it's just me and Meryl Streep, and Sam Mendes, Harrison Ford, Orlando Bloom, and you're like, okay, right, wow, that's a bit weird, but I really, it was a nice evening.
Better than the old school prize giving, isn't it?
Well, I never won anything at prize giving, so it was it's always it's nice. It was really lovely. It was a nice evening. Yeah.
And have you had one of those Hollywood moments yet? Like someone that recognised you and you didn't. I mean, they're obviously mega famous, but you didn't know that they knew you or anything. Have you had any of those sort of fun Hollywood moments? Or going to the shops and then you suddenly go, "Oh my goodness me! Look who's in aisle 3."
There's no way of saying it without sounding like an idiot.
Go on, it's all right.
You just sound
You're amongst
like an
friends.
idiot. I know, but you just
you're
sound.
amongst friends.
There's no way you just sound so stupid, and you're just regaling stories like, because I don't know.
But it's lovely though. That's the thing. It's.
Yeah, we did have we went. It's just, I don't even know why I would tell her, because it's just, there's no way I come out of this without looking like I'm not just. We went to dinner with Bono and his wife and Sean Penn and Charlize Theron and Colin Farrell, and it was just us, and we were like, I remember thinking, okay, well, this didn't used to happen. And then we went to see U2 the next night, and Bono mentioned me on stage, and I was like, what is happening? This is ridiculous, And then just things like the show, like Coldplay are on our show on Monday, and I can remember going to see Coldplay in Bristol at like the Colston Hall, and just thinking, like years ago, and just thinking, oh, well, this is my favourite band, this is amazing. And then for them to sort of call us and go, we'd like to do the show, and we'd like to do 2 numbers, and you're just like, this is madness to me that we would have a show where I get to introduce Coldplay and do a little bit with that. Like, it's, you know, it's really strange when you think about it like that. But like I say, you really can't. I just think the second that you start to take it or yourself that seriously, you just come unstuck, really. So just trying to just have as much fun as we can, really.
That dinner sounds fun. I've got to ask, not just as a Scotsman, when the bill comes at the end, does everyone go, I've got it, or does it, no, cards in the middle, or how does it work?
I think Sean Penn got it. I think he did one of those discreet slip outs.
I'm going off to the toilet, and then
it was taken care of, and
Mr.
you know, you
Penn
just
got
find yourself going, oh, thanks, Sean. You didn't have to do that. I'll get the next one. And he's looking at you going, who are you again?
Oh, so do you kind of see this as it is home?
Well, it doesn't feel like home yet. It doesn't feel like. How long did it take you?
3 years.
Right. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't. It very much. It doesn't feel like home. It feels like a place where we live right now. But the with every day it starts to feel more like home. I mean, there are times where you feel unbelievably far away from family and friends. Like there's a strange thing with the time difference that it hits like 2 p.m. and you think, well, even if I wanted to call my dad, I couldn't. And that's very strange. And my wife and I have very much aware that, you know, our parents are getting older, and their grandchildren are getting older, and you want to, you want them to be part of their lives. So you do, and you know, I want that will be a huge factor in how long we stay here. You know, I don't, I just can't call that. Like I have a contract, and when that contract's finished, I'll be 40. So, you know, we'll see what happens then. If I'm enjoying it as much as I am now, I don't know what we'll do, but you know, we'll see. But we have like 1,000 shows to make between now and then, so it'll keep us busy, you know.
And so lovely in those first few shows as well to have mum and dad here.
Yeah, I mean, they love it. I mean, my goodness, they just can't get enough of coming out. They came out to see us, and they just went to Palm Springs for a week. I was like, what are you doing? They were like, oh, we're going to head out to Palm Springs, son. And like, you know, mum's getting a boob job. Dad's getting hair plugs. They're both just going to take a little bit back. They're just, you know, and mum's going, oh, he's just going, I guess get a cold pressed juice. You know, like it's, you know, they really love it when they come out, and you know, as do our kids, and it's wonderful. But the irony is, I think I'm seeing them more. I'm spending more time with them than I ever did when we were in London. Because they're just like, we think we're going to come out in a couple of weeks. So if you could book the flights. Oh, I'm getting it. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. But, you know, and it's a really nice thing to see them enjoying it so much. And my dad plays sax with the band, and, you know, that it's a lovely thing. Aww. Yeah.
Well, I'm so proud of you. We're proud of you too, because it's an incredible achievement.
Thank you so much.
And on to show 1,000.
I mean, you say it like that, it sounds like a prison sentence, doesn't it?